There's a version of you that you haven't met yet. A version so cold, so calculated, so relentlessly consistent that if you encountered him today, you wouldn't recognize him. You'd fear him. Most people think discipline is about waking up early or eating clean or hitting the gym. They're wrong. Real discipline isn't a habit you build, it's an act of violence against your own weakness. It's the ability to look at your emotions, your fatigue, your excuses, and bury them alive. Machiavelli knew this. He didn't write for saints, he wrote for strategists, for men who understood that to hold power in a chaotic world, you cannot be soft, you cannot be predictable. You must become a force of nature. And when you do, when you become truly disciplined, people don't just respect you. They get nervous around you. They sense a shift. They see a man who can no longer be manipulated, a man who has stopped negotiating with himself. And that terrifies them, because a man who cannot be broken by his own mind cannot be broken by anything. Stay with me for the next 40 minutes, and I'll show you exactly how to become that man, the one who scares them just by walking into the room. But I'm warning you now. This isn't self-help. This is self-destruction. We're going to destroy the weak, dependent, emotional part of you so the ruler can emerge. Let's begin. You're not physically tired. You're here because you're tired. Not physically tired, soul tired. You're exhausted by your own inconsistency. You're sick of making promises to yourself that you break by noon. You're watching others rise while you stay trapped in the same loop. Motivation followed by collapse. Momentum followed by self-sabotage. Progress followed by regression. You've lived this cycle so many times you could script it. Monday, this is it. New me. I'm all in. Tuesday, still riding the wave. Wednesday, the cracks appear. Thursday, negotiating with yourself. Friday, I'll restart. Monday, repeat. The question that brought you here. You want to know how to break out. You want to know how to build a mind that's bulletproof. I'm going to show you. But understand something first. Most men are slaves. Slaves to their impulses. Slaves to their phones. Slaves to the opinions of people they don't even like. The moment you start this path, you stop being a slave. You become a sovereign. But sovereignty has a price. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Machiavelli said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience who you really are. The average man tells you everything. He broadcasts his plans, posts his workout on Instagram, announces his new era on social media, tells everyone about his business idea. He seeks validation for effort he hasn't even exerted yet. This is why he fails. He releases the pressure valve before the engine even starts. Here's what's happening neurologically. When you talk about your goals, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine, the same chemical it releases when you actually achieve the goal. Your brain can't tell the difference between, I'm going to do this, I did this, so it rewards you prematurely. And once rewarded, the urgency dissolves. You've tricked yourself into feeling accomplished without accomplishing anything. You must do the opposite. You must become a ghost. True discipline requires silence. It requires the dark. When you work in the dark, you make mistakes no one sees. You correct them without judgment. You build strength without the interference of other people's doubt. Imagine this. You disappear for 6 months. No announcements, no explanations, just work. The gym, the business, the mind you cut, the noise, the cheap dopamine, the toxic friends who only love you when you're drinking with them, and then you re-emerge. But you don't come back the same. You come back sharper, heavier. Your presence feels different. You don't have to tell people you changed. They feel it. They see it in your posture. They hear it in the way you don't speak. Why this scares people? The discipline of the ghost scares people because it reminds them of their own lack of focus. It reminds them that while they were seeking attention, you were building power. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who listens, watches, and says nothing. When you go silent, you create a vacuum. People become unsettled. They project their own fears onto you. They wonder, what are you up to? Why don't you need their attention anymore? This silence is your armor. It protects your intent. Starting today. Start today. Stop explaining yourself. Explanation is the language of the victim. The powerful do not justify their actions, they execute them. If you're tired, shut up and work. If you're hurt, shut up and heal. If you're winning, shut up and keep winning. Your results will speak, and their voice will be louder than anything you could ever say. There's a misconception that disciplined people are robots, that they don't feel pain or boredom or sadness. That's a lie. The disciplined man feels everything. He feels the desire to sleep in. He feels the sting of rejection. He feels the overwhelming urge to quit. The difference? He doesn't care. Machiavelli argued that a leader must not be ruled by emotion, but must use emotion. He said, men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. Apply this to yourself. You cannot rely on loving the grind. You will not love the grind at 4 a.m. You will hate it. You cannot rely on passion. Passion is a fickle flame. A gust of wind blows it out. You need something colder. You need duty. The definition discipline is the art of acting in direct opposition to how you feel. It's emotional alchemy. You take the lead weight of I don't want to and transmute it into the gold of I did it anyway. Becoming unpredictable. When you stop consulting your feelings before you act, you become dangerous. Think about it. If your enemy knows you only fight when you're motivated, all they have to do is wait until you're sad, until you're tired, then you're defenseless. But if you're the kind of man who works harder when he's miserable, trains harder when he's heartbroken, focuses deeper when he's angry, you become unpredictable. You become immune to circumstance. Why this scares them? They look at you and think, why isn't he stopping? He should be broken by now. They don't understand that you've detached your actions from your feelings. You treat your emotions like the weather. You might look out the window and see a storm. You acknowledge it. It's raining. But you do not cancel your mission because of rain. You put on a coat and you walk. The Machiavellian approach. This is the Machiavellian approach to the self. You are the prince. Your emotions are the unruly subjects. You listen to them, but you do not let them rule the kingdom. If they riot, you crush them. The 3-second rule. Start practicing this. When the alarm goes off, you have 3 seconds. If you think about it for 4 seconds, your brain will convince you to stay in bed. Your brain is designed for comfort, not greatness. It's a survival mechanism, not a success mechanism. You must bypass the negotiation. 1, 2, 3. Move. Do not think. Thinking is the enemy of execution, and the moment of weakness. Just move. The body must obey the command. Over time, you rewire your neural pathways. You stop being a man who tries to be good. You become a machine that functions regardless of how it feels. The ultimate freedom. This is how you become untouchable. When your internal state no longer dictates your external output, you are free. Machiavelli knew that to maintain power, a ruler often had to stand alone. He wrote, "A wise prince should rely on what is in his own control, not on what is in the control of others." The circle audit. Look at your circle. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself, are they pushing me or are they comfortable? Most people are terrified of being alone. They fill every silent moment with podcasts, music, texting, scrolling. They cannot sit in a room with their own thoughts because their thoughts haunt them. Their thoughts tell them the truth. You're wasting your potential. To become terrifyingly disciplined, you must embrace isolation. You must be willing to walk away from people who do not serve the mission. This sounds cruel. It is. It's ruthless. But it's necessary. When you start to rise, people will try to pull you back. Not because they hate you, but because your growth highlights their stagnation. You are a mirror. When you get in shape, the fat friend feels judged. When you build a business, the lazy friend feels attacked. They'll say, "You've changed, you're obsessed, you're no fun anymore." Good. Fun is the distraction of the average. You're not here for fun, you're here for mastery. You must become comfortable with the idea of being the villain in their story. Let them call you cold, distant, arrogant. Let them tell stories about how you think you're better than everyone else. You don't think you're better. You just have different standards, and you refuse to lower them to make others feel comfortable. The laboratory of the great isolation is the laboratory of the great. It's in the solitude that you find out who you actually are without the noise of other people's opinions. You hear your own voice. You clarify your vision. You need to schedule periods of total withdrawal, monk mode, deep work, whatever you want to call it. Lock the door, turn off the phone, face the work. In that space, you'll find demons, boredom, anxiety, and you will fight them. The confidence that cannot be faked. When you win that fight in the dark, you'll walk into the light with a confidence that cannot be faked. People sense this. They sense a man who does not need them. And ironically, that's exactly what makes them want to follow you. The man who is comfortable alone is the man everyone wants to be around. Why? Because he's the only one who's not trying to take something from them. He's full. Machiavelli advised that a leader should never be entirely predictable. It is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation which is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. How this applies to discipline. When you're undisciplined, you're predictable. People know you'll quit. They know you'll complain. They know that if they pressure you enough, you'll fold. You're easy to manipulate because your weaknesses are visible. When you become disciplined, you become a glitch in their matrix. You stop reacting. Someone insults you. You don't get angry. You look at them, pause, and go back to work. A crisis happens. You don't panic. You analyze. You lose money. You don't cry. You rebuild. Why this is terrifying. This lack of reaction is terrifying to manipulative people. They rely on your emotional volatility to control you. When you remove the buttons they use to push, they are powerless. Your consistency as a weapon. Your consistency becomes your weapon. Imagine a man who shows up every single day. He doesn't complain, he doesn't brag, he just executes year after year. You cannot stop him. You cannot discourage him. You cannot distract him. That man is scary because he is inevitable. You want to be that man. You want to be the force that cannot be bargained with. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being implacable, like a glacier. Slow, silent, but crushing everything in its path. Killing the need for sympathy. This requires you to kill the part of you that craves sympathy. Stop telling people your problems, posting about your bad days. Looking for a pat on the back. When you look for sympathy, you're showing your belly. You're showing the world where you can be hurt. Machiavelli would tell you to hide your wounds. Not because you're ashamed, but because you don't want to give your enemies the satisfaction of knowing they drew blood. Stand up straight. Fix your face. Walk with purpose. Even if your world is burning down, you do not let them see you sweat. This isn't faking it. This is framing it. You're framing reality. You're telling the world, I am in control, and eventually you will be too. Why do you fail? You fail because your standards are too low. You've accepted a version of reality where trying is enough. Almost is okay. 80% is acceptable. You need to raise the floor. Machiavelli studied the great empires, Rome, Sparta. They didn't fall because of external enemies. They fell because they rotted from within. They lost their discipline. They became soft. Luxury made them weak. You're living in the most luxurious time in human history. Heating delivery food, endless entertainment, pornography, sugar drugs. Everything is designed to make you soft. Everything is designed to sedate you. To be disciplined in this world is an act of rebellion. You must declare war on comfort. You must set standards that seem unreasonable to everyone else. Why do you wake up at 4 a.m.? Why do you verify every detail? Why do you refuse to eat that? Because I am not you. That's the internal monologue. You don't say it out loud, you just live it. When you hold yourself to a standard of excellence, you expose the mediocrity of everyone around you. This is why they hate it. Your existence challenges their excuses. If you can do it, why can't they? It's easier for them to call you crazy or obsessed than to admit they're lazy. The Machiavellian man does not lower himself to be understood by fools. He forces the world to rise to meet him, or he leaves the world behind. You must become ruthless with your time. Time is the only resource you cannot regenerate. Every second you spend arguing with an idiot, scrolling through social media, worrying about things you cannot control, is a second you've stolen from your future empire. Guard your time like a dragon guards gold. Be inaccessible, brief, direct. When people realize your time is expensive, they stop wasting it. When they realize your attention is rare, they value it. Discipline creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. By becoming so disciplined that you're almost mechanical in your execution, you elevate yourself out of the competition. Most people are competing in the average bracket. The air is thin at the top because few have the lungs to breathe there. Climb there. The view is different. The silence is different. This is the hardest part. This is where you have to hold the funeral. To become the person who scares them, you have to kill the person you used to be. You have to kill the version of you that needs to be liked, the version of you that apologizes for having ambition, the version of you that seeks permission. You have to look at your past, your mistakes, your trauma, your embarrassments, and close the door. Machiavelli said, "There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others." You are at war with your past self. If you do not kill him, he will kill your future. He will drag you back into old habits. He will whisper in your ear when things get hard. Just take a break. Just one drink. Just skip today. You must be ruthless. You're shedding a skin. It's painful. It leaves you raw, but it's the only way to grow. You might lose friends, lose a partner, be misunderstood by your family. This is the tax you pay for greatness. Do not complain about the tax, just pay it. On the other side of that death is a rebirth, a version of you that is leaner, meaner, faster. A version that operates on logic, not emotion. A version that sees the world as a chessboard, not a playground. This new you is scary. He scares you a little, doesn't he? He should. Power is always frightening, and you're building power, not power over others. That's tyranny. But power over yourself, that's majesty. When you walk into a room with total self-control, you vibrate at a different frequency. People yield the right of way. They don't know why, but they know you are not to be trifled with. You have that look. The look of a man who has seen the abyss and walked through it. The look of a man who has conquered his own mind. There is no greater victory, as the Stoics knew, as Machiavelli knew. The man who conquers himself is greater than the man who conquers a city. When you truly commit to this path, when you become this disciplined, the noise stops. The anxiety that has buzzed in the background of your life for years, it goes quiet. Why anxiety exists? Anxiety comes from knowing you're unprepared. It comes from knowing you're lying to yourself. When you're disciplined, you have nothing to hide. You know who you are, what you're capable of. You stop fearing the future because you're building it. Other people because you know they cannot outwork you. Failure because you know failure is just data for the next attempt. You become free. But it's a cold freedom. It's a lonely freedom. It's the freedom of the wolf on the hill looking down at the sheep in the pen. They're warm, safe, fed, but they're trapped. You're out in the cold, you're hungry, but you're free. And that's the choice you have to make today. Do you want the warmth of the herd or the power of the hunt? You cannot have both. Machiavelli wrote his philosophy in exile. He was stripped of his status, tortured, cast out. And in that darkness, he wrote the words that would change the world. He didn't need applause. He didn't need the applause. He needed the truth. Your discipline is your truth. Your discipline is your truth. It's the only thing that's yours. They can take your money, your job, your reputation, but they cannot take your discipline, your ability to endure. That is your fortress. That is your throne. Listen to me. The world is getting softer. The world is getting louder. The world is getting more chaotic. This is your advantage. While they get weaker, you get harder. While they get distracted, you get focused. While they seek comfort, you seek the edge. You're going to scare them. You're going to scare them, not because you're trying to, but because you're a mirror reflecting everything they're too cowardly to become. Let them stare, whisper. Fear you have work to do. The path is cold, the path is steep, and you must walk it alone. But now you're ready. If you've made it this far, you're part of the 0.01%. You're the outlier. Now prove it. The old you is dead. Now go build the new one. But here's what I didn't tell you. Discipline without direction is just suffering. You can be the most disciplined person in the world, but if you're building the wrong thing, if you're climbing the wrong mountain, you're just a well-organized slave. That's why the next video you need to watch is about strategic direction. How to ensure every disciplined action you take is actually moving you toward power, not just away from weakness. It's called How to Succeed with Zero Support, and it picks up exactly where this one ends. Because once you've become disciplined enough to scare people, the next question is, what do you build with that power? I'll see you there.